What's up, YouTube? It is Mr. Charlie Black coming back at you with another video today, Tuesday. Feels good. It's a good Tuesday. But, oh, I forgot to give a shout out to one of my Redskins fans out there, a viewer of mine who got to see the Cowboys give the Redskins a whooping on Sunday, because I forgot to do that on my Monday's video. I just thought I would rub it in now since you were talking a lot of smack before Sunday's game went down. 14-10 is still a win any way you look at it. But on to other news. Besides the fact that Romo is back, this is going to be a video response to the GM, or the Big Three. I call it GM because most prominent, of course, but the Big Three bailout that they had a hearing for on Capitol Hill today, November 18th. You can click down there. I haven't found a video yet that I'm going to respond to, but I will find one and link it anyway. But here's my take on it, because I've been hearing a lot of talk about this, and the reality I think that most people, most American citizens have not realized is that this bailout is more than likely a done deal. They're putting on a show, of course, because it's politics. They're putting on a show where they put it out there to see how much reception it gets. It almost reminds me of the whole Hillary Clinton Secretary of State situation. Okay, so you had Damage Control come out on Meet the Press and talk about how, maybe she's not ready to take the job. I think that she's already thought about it in her mind, already secured it, and it's just a matter of time before she accepts it and moves on. Now, the funny part about the situation is that the Big Three, GM, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, are suffering so much right now. They said GM alone accounts for about over 350,000 jobs, and indirectly affects 4.5 million jobs here in the U.S. And the reason that this is so crucial is because of the auto sales industry and the automobile industry in general. And I don't think that people realize the full scope of what's going on here. I worked in car sales for almost 2 years. I quit my job recently about a month ago. It's just so slow. It's dead. Nothing was going on. You're not selling anything. You're not running as many applications as you used to. Some days you'd be waiting for people to come through the doors. You'd see one person out of an 8-hour day, and it's not too good at all to waste your time there like that. I've seen so many salespeople get laid off. I've seen so many factories close down over the last series of months. I've seen so many speculations about job cuts all over the board, especially in sales industries, that it really makes you wonder what's to come. When I was in that environment and working with those people and running finance applications, credit was tightening so much. People did not have down payments. They were upside down in their cars. There was so much negative equity from the big SUVs out there. And while I fault GM and I fault Chrysler and Ford for not making vehicles that responded to the times that we're in now, hindsight is always 20/20, and I think that it's time to construct a plan to dig people out of this mess that we're in. I hear so many people saying, let them sink, just let them fail. If you let them fail, you're not just letting the big CEOs that you want to get retaliation against fail. You're letting everyone else around them fail also. Brought up the pension idea. Well, let me backtrack and say this. There are factories out there, and they're producing 16 million GM vehicles. We only sell 10 million of those. So 16 million a year, and we only sell 10 million. There's obviously an overproduction somewhere down the line. There does need to be more efficiency within the business model. But let's talk about the pension and people who have retired and are expecting funds. And how people are saying, well, if they close down, the government still has the right to negotiate their pension. You're in a sense, and what it sounds like when you make that argument is that you're looking for government to expand. You're looking for government to expand and to reach out and start dishing out people's retirement money, and that to me is not very safe. Also, what I've noticed is that GM and Chrysler's merge has just been swept under the rug. No one's talking about it anymore. This is what I think. If you're going to hand out $25 billion of taxpayers' money, and maybe this is just me thinking, ideally, thinking in a dreamland, There should be accountability, there should be sacrifices, and there should be stipulations for the money that's going to be dealt out to these people. CEOs, like Chris Matthews said, I was watching MSNBC a little while ago, he was talking about it a little bit. CEOs making over $200,000 a year should not receive any bonuses. Be like all the other smaller companies out here who have cut bonuses for their employees. They should not receive bonuses. The whole AIG thing was a slap in the face, and it was an embarrassment because it happened not only once but twice after you were bailed out. You're using taxpayers' dollars for your own selfish benefits. Bonuses should be stripped away. I think that GM and Chrysler should be forced to merge. I think that the model lineup for GM and Chrysler should be snatched and cut in half. I think that if this money is allocated in the right way, people should start to direct those funds and make strict rules for how they're going to use them. Paulson went up today on Capitol Hill at the hearing that they were having with the Big Three and said that there should be flexibility left in the bailout. I don't believe so. I think that when it comes to issues like this, it should be very strict and very, very explicit. Because what you had with the $700 billion bailout plan is it's transformed into something that, originally it was not. And no one can come up with an explanation as to why it's okay. But it's due to the fact that there was flexibility left in the plan. There are loopholes left in the plan, and there are always going to be loopholes. But, Congress needs to sit down and to battle this one out. They probably already sat down and concocted some kind of plan. But I don't want to hand over money to these people of my tax dollars for them to go and do the same things they've been doing before, making vehicles that get less than 20 miles to the gallon, and they're little sedans. I want people to start making vehicles that are going to function in today's world. GM has lost money. Ford has lost even more money. Chrysler, enough said. Toyota and Honda have also lost money, but they're still battling out there. They're still competitive in the global market. GM is not. So instead of focusing on what's going on everywhere else, because I hear people making the argument that if we have to give them $25 billion, why not Honda and Toyota, because they have factories here too. It's time to start focusing on home. Not worrying about what's going on everywhere else in their economy. Focusing on the strength of the United States dollar and our jobs out here. I know people who right now are suffering so much because they played by the rules. They've gotten the job. They've gone to work 9 to 5. They've tried to provide for their families. They've been on the job for 10, 15 years, and they walk in one day and now it's up in the air. Or now they realize that they're going to get some kind of measly severance package for all the work that they put in that does not compensate them for everything that they'd be out. Families that are so up to their eyeballs in debt that they don't even know if they're going to make it the next day. That right there should be motivation enough to not try to let the top 3 auto manufacturers in the United States of America just sink, because that has indirect consequences. Like I said, I've seen people get laid off. I've seen this happen time and time again. And when you don't when you don't have that kind of money to go out there and put yourself in that environment, what's going to happen? Look at places like Detroit. The city that I live in, if you're not into agriculture, if you're not into sales or the restaurants, you are not doing anything. And a large portion of it is sales. So then what's going to happen when all the sales jobs are gone? There are so many dealerships here, and I've seen them close down one by one by one. When I quit my job, the day before I had read an article saying that 700 dealerships were going to close in 2009. 700 across America. That does not sound like a lot, but it's a whole lot considering the fact that they're closing day by day by day each day now. We have to do something because people are out there struggling. And this is not a time to say, oh, well, let everyone suffer. I understand what they're saying. They're going to use this money in kind of way that they want. But I think that if there's oversight, if there's a consensus, which is hard to come by, then this will work. People are already arguing against it, and I hear the arguments against it, but I think that it's already in the works. It's just about how well we can craft it. YouTubers, let me know what you think about this bailout situation. I know it touches a lot of the homes out here today. Let me know what you feel about it. Let me know what your opinions are through comments, messages, whichever. I'll approve them as I go along, and stay tuned.